and welcome to Thinking on the Loo. And that time when you're sitting down, you let your thoughts go. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to let our thoughts go. I like to think when I'm in the restroom and these thoughts enter my head and I think about them, ponder about them, wonder what it's all about. And today's video is Venus. In the previous video, we went to Mars. And we talked a little bit about Mars. And it's a similar thing with Venus. Obviously, Venus being our second planet to our star, our sun. And as we know from current, research or knowledge of videos, it's kind of a really horrible place. It's a gassy, acidy, molten, intense gravity where even when they've tried to send probes and that and stuff like that, they've not managed to even reach the surface. They've been completely destroyed before getting there. So we know it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And part of this series is, and part of me thinking about this particular topic in the restroom once a day. You must be here at least once a day. If you're not here once a day, maybe go and get things checked out. Just saying. But let's continue on. Yeah, so this series is about trying to understand what is the point in our solar system. I'm going to focus mainly on the planets around us, our neighbours, Mars, Venus, and we might go to Mercury, maybe, we'll see. Depends how long I get in the restroom to think about certain things. That's what we're going to do. We're going to look at Venus, and I want to know why. Because in the last video we talked about Mars and, in general, what happened to it, what's the point of it even being there. And it's a very similar story with Venus. Why is Venus the way it is? Why at one point did we believe that there could have been life on Venus? There could have been a place we could have gone to, lived on, walked on. And I'm leaning towards the theory, when I'm thinking, I'm leaning that maybe it was. Maybe Mars was. But maybe also Venus was. Because the idea of creation and everything else, I want to try and give it a point, a logic. I mean, if we look at our current, now, solar system, and we're going to talk about the few planets I've just mentioned, ourselves, Mars, Venus, and the rest of them, okay, you can include if you wish to, but there's generally doesn't seem to be much point than our own planet, in any of the others even being there. I mean, what purpose do they serve? What do they do? So when I'm thinking in the restroom, I'm thinking maybe that's because we don't know what happened to these other planets. We know a little bit about Earth and about how it's evolved over the last few thousand years. Well, we think we do. We're finding, archaeological evidence on that sort of stuff. And if there is a creator, we're going to talk about creation much further on in the series. But if there is a creator out there, which I believe there is a creator, then what was the point in it? So maybe there was a point, just that time has gone so long on, that point is now, it's vanished, it's gone. Well, vanished. No, we can't see it. We only see ourselves how we are now. Maybe we are the last planet to have life in our solar system. That's a really interesting thought. Was life much more teeming and full of different planets and life and civilizations and beings, you could say, many, many millions of years ago? That's what my thoughts are in today's restroom. And we're going to go on the verge of thought diarrhea now. Sorry about that, we are in the restroom. So, if that's true, let's just bear with me a second, let's theorize. There's a thing where we know, or I understand, that our sun, our star, has been gradually getting bigger over millions and millions of years. And that eventually it might well destroy us completely. Maybe that's billions of years in the future. I don't know. But has that happened to Venus? Is that why Venus is the way it is today? Was it a planet that was habitable millions of years ago? But now as the sun got brighter and a bit bigger, it basically cooked Venus and you could no longer live there. Absolute thought, whatever. Way deeper than your toilet bowl. Them kind of thoughts are. toilet bowl. Sorry. I am a dad of two. It's just, dad jokes, whatever. But yeah, so that's where the thing is going with this one. It's just fascinates me to think that, is that possible? Will that one day happen to us? That'd make more sense to me in a creation way. That yes, it did have life. We had life. Mars had life. But something happened to Venus, and then something very different happened to Mars. Mars baffles me. The whole atmosphere thing that had atmosphere but doesn't anymore. Was that some sort of disaster? Would it be ecological? Could it have been a war of aliens? And that war destroyed their planet? Mars planet, that planet. Is this Kuiper Belt thing somehow linked to that? Was that some massive destruction event? And Mars was basically just destroyed, and whoever lived there could no longer live there anymore. Like the film Mission to Mars, when that happened to them and they came to Earth, or they seeded Earth with life. All this, to me, is entirely possible. That creation happened, but not just for us, for all life. And that we are just the oldest life forms in this solar system. That our planet has been sat in this still Goldilocks zone. And we've not had disasters, not yet anyway. A big meteorite strikes the Earth and we are gone. We are just a lifeless ball of rock in the solar system. And people that come visit this system from elsewhere would say, oh, what happened there? Why is there no life in this place? There seems very little point to this place. Oh, they had this, they had that. Disasters. These are completely, like I say, completely random thoughts. Thoughts that I have sitting in my restroom. Of course, if you're watching this, it's not my restroom, clearly. I'm not going to film myself on the toilet. That's quite nasty. But yeah, I do generally have these thoughts in the restroom. Daily. I keep saying daily, keep your fibre intake high, keep your water intake high, and you can too be here in your restroom daily and have these thoughts with me. Not with me, that's also disgusting, but have your own thoughts and ponder your own life and whatever else you want to think about when you're in your restroom. This is what I think about, different things. And this series of videos, we're going to talk about all them things I think about. The ones I can remember anyway. A lot of it I just literally forget as soon as I've flushed. Which brings me to the end of the video. It's time to flush. It's time to go. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I hope you've enjoyed a bit of thoughts. Let me know, what are your thoughts on what I've said today? Do you think anything similar to me? Do you think it's complete and utter that? We're in the restroom? Or have you got your own thoughts? That's it for today. I must go. Take care. See you later. See you next time in the restroom. Thinking on the loo. Goodbye.